Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope our programs are going to help in your studies of subject of biology. If we recap, in our last discussion, we were discussing about the membrane bound organelles. And we have discussed the 7 membrane bound organelles. Today we will be continuing with the rest of the membrane, and then we will be going to enter in the field of non-membrane bound organelles. So we discussed about the endoplasmic reticulum, we discussed about the Golgi apparatus, we discussed about the lysosome, we discussed about the peroxisome, glyoxysome, chloroplast and mitochondria. And today we will be starting with the vacuole. What the vacuole is? Vacuole is going to perform a very diverse function in the maintenance of the cell. So vacuole is single membrane bound, fluid filled sacs. If they are very small in size, we are using the word vesicles for them, and if they are bigger, we are using vacuoles for them. So looking at some of the points of the vacuoles on the slides. So vacuoles, as I mentioned, have diverse function in the cell maintenance. Vesicles and vacuoles, which are the vacuoles, the larger version of these, are membrane bound sacs with varied function. So these may be the food vacuoles produced from the process of phagocytosis. Lysosome fuse with these food vacuoles, causing the digestion of these food material. Then these may be the contractile vacuole found in the freshwater protista members, and they are going to expel excess of water. And then they may be a central vacuole, especially in case of plant cells. So the membrane surrounding the central vacuole, which is also called as tonoplast with special reference to the plant cell, is selective in its transport of solute in the central vacuole. The function of central vacuoles include stockpiling proteins or inorganic ions, depositing metabolic byproducts, storing pigment and storing defensive compound against herbivores. It also increases surface to volume ratio for whole of the cell. So looking at this is one of the central vacuole in case of plant cell, and this membrane, the outer boundary of this vacuole, is given a special terminology of the tonoplast. So these vacuoles basically they are going to act as a temporary storehouse, and this store may be having food, water, waste and lot of other compounds which are there. As far as vacuoles are concerned, so we have gone with these functions. So they are actually the storehouse of the cell. What is there in our stores, in our houses? So sometimes these are the extra useful material we are going to store there. So in the vacuoles of the cell, so these are sometimes the nutrients which are there, sometimes these are minerals which are there, sometimes the waste products they are there. So waste products, so which are not required by the plant, they are temporarily stored within the vacuoles. And some other very important function that we were discussing about the colors of the petals of flower and fruits due to anthocyanin, which were present with the chromoplast, one of the plastid. We already discussed that. So these anthocyanin pigments, they are also stored within the vacuole. Another important function of vacuole is the plants are having no digestive system because they are not eating food. They are making their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So, but if digestive process is required, digestion of foreign material is required, then these hydrolytic enzymes which are there with the lysosomes, so they are stored within the food vacuole. Another important function is sometimes these are the toxic material which are stored within the food vacuoles, and herbivores, the animals which are going to eat plants, so God has given the defensive mechanism. Once they are going to eat the leaf of the plant, so these toxin, or sometimes they are having very bad taste, they are unpalatable, and the animals are not going to graze these plants. So God has given the defensive mechanism which is inbuilt within the vacuole of the single large central vacuole in case of plant cell. In case of animal cell, these are multiple scattered vacuoles having multiple function, as we have already discussed. So this was the vacuole. Moving to our next very important organelle, that is the nucleus. And nucleus is basically control center for all the activity of cell. This is the mastermind that is going to control all the actions occurring in our body at the cellular level, as well as you can say later on the combined effect giving any of the specific function. So looking at the vacuole, what is there inside the nucleus. So basically the nucleus is our genetic library. Genetic material is there, and this genetic material is there in the form of chromatin, that is the uncoiled DNA molecules. And once the cell is going to enter in the cell division, then coiling of this chromatin is occurred to take the form of chromosome. There is one or more darkly stained area is visible, that is called as nucleolus, and this nucleus is also bounded by the double membrane. And a special feature of this double membrane, it is having these nuclear pores. So these are the nuclear pores here in this double membrane, and inside this darkly stained area, that is nucleolus, a little nucleus, smaller nucleus inside the nucleus, and this is the chromatin. The jelly-like material which is present inside the nucleus, this is again another view of the nucleus. These are the nuclear pores, nuclear envelope, the double membrane which are there, chromatin threads which are there, and inside this is the nucleolus. There are many students having a confusion that nucleolus is one of the organelle. It is not a organelle. What it is? If you are going to look at the picture of this nucleolus, basically these are the loops of DNA of different chromosomes. These loops, they are going to condense together in the middle. So this is not a organelle, not counted in membrane bound, not counted in non-membrane bound. So this is a part of the nucleus, and sometimes also called as a little nucleus, and this is mainly found in, it may be one or more than one in one cell. Function of this is, the main function of this nucleolus is production of ribosome. So three variety of RNA, ribosomal RNA, transfer RNA, messenger RNA, as well as the ribosome, they are being synthesized by this nucleolus. Another view of a plant cell. So this is the outer boundary, the cell wall of a plant cell, and this is the nucleus. This nucleus now, it is having a very clear boundary, and this cell is there in the interphase, non-dividing phase. So if you are going to look, the chromatin is in the diffuse form, and this is the darkly stained nucleolus which is visible. But once the cells are going to enter in the division phase, so this chromatin, the genetic material which was there in the diffuse form, it is going to coil and recoil to take the form of these thread-like structure, and these thread-like structure, they are called as chromosome. So if it is undiffused form, uncoiled form, this is called as chromatin, and if it is a condensed form, coiled form, thread-like form, so these are called as chromosome. Otherwise this is the same material which is there, and these chromosome, definitely they are attached with these microtubules also called as spindle fibers. This is one of the artistic impression of the chromosome. Okay, looking at the function of nucleus, how it is going to have its master control over all the activities of cell. Basically every information is stored within the molecules of DNA. This chromatin which is made up of DNA, it is having all the instruction from A to Z, and how these instructions are given to the other organelles to perform a special function. So a copy of DNA is basically made, and this copy is going to come out of the nucleus. Instructions are coming out of the nucleus, and then they are going to perform the specific action in the different corner of the cell. So looking at how the instructions are going to come out of the nucleus. So this is a picture of nucleus. This outer boundary, the nuclear envelope, double membrane bound, nuclear pores are there. These are the chromatin threads made up of DNA. These are the different, you can say, the loops of DNA aggregated at one place, which are under the process of formation of the RNA or messages which are there meant for, and this liquid matrix that is called as nucleoplasm. Looking at the animation, so these are the information. So these loops are going to generate the information, looking again how the informations and from where. These are the informations which are coming out through these nuclear pore, and how these informations, they are going to carry the exactly the same order. Looking at the other animation, that how the message is going to be transferred exactly in the same form as it is stored in the nucleus. So this is basically the DNA, and that how the exact code which is there in the structure of DNA, it is being transferred outside the cell. So this is the process of transcription, and transcription mean DNA directed synthesis of messenger RNA. This is a molecule of DNA having the information. Now there is an enzyme that is RNA polymerase, and it is going to bind with one of the area which is called as promoter. Promoter is the start part of any gene or any signal or any order. So it is going to attach at the promoter, causing splitting of this DNA and copying the information from here in the form of this strand. So this is the strand, and in the end the termination of this is going to occur where a codon, a signal is going to come, that this should be just, the order should be ending here as a just the stop codon which is there. Now this is the message. This was the message in the form of messenger RNA, and this is the DNA directed synthesis of this messenger RNA, which is called as process of transcription. And in the previous animation we have seen that these were the messenger RNA, these signals were coming outside the nuclear pore, and what they are going to do inside the cell we will be discussing in our next part of discussion while discussing the ribosomes. Dear students, we have completed the discussion of our membrane bound organelles. You must have appreciated that we discussed 9 of them. 3 of them, they are bounded by the double membrane. Can you recall? Yes. So these are the 3, the mitochondria, chloroplast and the nucleus. The other 6, they were bounded by the single membrane. Why these compartments are there? Why these 9s are there? Because they are assigned the different role by God. Some are given the role of synthesis of protein, some are given the role of modification of protein, some are given the role of photosynthesis, some are given the role of respiration, generation of energy. So these compartments which are made within the cell, the purpose of these compartments is that within each compartment a specific activity must be carried out. So going to enter in the 9 other organelles which are not bounded by the membrane. They are also performing very important functions, but they are not bounded by the membrane. They are found freely within the cytoplasm. So these 9s, what these are? These are ribosomes, centriole, cilia, flagella, microfilaments, intermediate filaments, microtubules, microvilli and storage granules. Starting with non-membrane bound organelles, the first of that is ribosome. Ribosomes were discovered very late because they are very small in size, almost of 20 nanometer, not visible at all with the light microscope, because the resolving power of light microscope is 200 nanometer. So this was only due to the discovery of electron microscope that we came to know the structure and function of these ribosomes. So these ribosomes are vital. The message which was coming from the nucleus, it was being translated by these ribosomes. So it is the decoding of this message which was coming from the nucleus, and how this decoding is performed. So looking at the structure and then some of the animations of the functions of ribosomes. So the ribosomes, they are concerned with the protein synthesis. So they are found Some of these are found freely, but most of these are attached on the endoplasmic reticulum. That is why this endoplasmic reticulum is given the name of rough endoplasmic reticulum. So these are the free ribosome, and these are the ribosomes which are attached on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And where they are manufactured? They are manufactured within the nucleolus, and these are made up of 50% of protein and 50% of ribosomal RNA. So they are also given a name of ribonucleoprotein particles. Another view of the ribosome, these ribosomes are basically made up of two subunits. One is the large subunit and another is the small subunit. That is why the ribosomes are also called as dimer. They are made up of two particles. So there was a scientist with the name of Strindberg that have used the sedimentation rate, and we are calling that this large subunit is going to sediment at the speed of 60 Strindberg unit and small at 40 Strindberg unit, but in the combined form with the magnesium ion, the whole of this particle in the form of dimer is isolated at 80 speeds of Strindberg unit. That is why we are going to say in eukaryotic cell, so these ribosomes, they are of 80 S value. S value means Strindberg unit. You can say this is enlargement from the cell, and this is the cytosol, the liquid part. This is the endoplasmic reticulum having these ribosomes attached, and these are the free ribosome. This is one of the electron microscopic view of these ribosomes. So cells which are having the requirement of more synthesis of protein, like the cells in the pancreas, because they are going to make pancreatic juices as well as the hormones insulin and glucagon. So they are having very large number of ribosome and prominent nuclei, because the nucleus is going to give the order and ribosomes are going to decode that order. Some ribosomes, they are found freely in the cytoplasm, and some are suspended in the cytoplasm and synthesize protein that function within the cytosol. Other ribosomes, they are bounded form of ribosome, they are attached with the endoplasmic reticulum, and they are going to synthesize protein that are either included in as a part of the membranes, or they are being exported from outside of the cell. There is a statement which is called as central dogma. What this statement is, that each and every function at the cellular level, that is controlled by DNA in the nucleus. You must be astonished that how is it possible that a single molecule is going to control all the activities of cell? Yes, the God has given a marvelous mechanism inside. So basically all the functions, they are regulated by the enzymes. And what enzymes are? Enzymes are protein in nature, and DNA is going to regulate the synthesis of these enzymes, these proteins, and then these enzymes are going to carry out the special function. So there is a central dogma, a statement which is given, that there is order passed by the DNA, and this DNA directed synthesis of message in the form of messenger RNA, this is given the name of transcription. And then this messenger RNA coming out, the two units, small subunit and large subunit, they are going to take inside this message, and then they are going to translate this message in terms of number and sequence of amino acid to give us a specific variety of enzyme and later on the protein, which is usually you can say of different variety, different natures are there. So this RNA, messenger RNA directed synthesis of polypeptide chain, proteins, enzyme at the surface of ribosome, this is given the terminology of translation. So looking at some of the slide and animations of this process of translation. So what this central statement is, that flow of information is from DNA to RNA, and then from RNA to proteins. And this DNA is having the information in the form of gene, What a gene is? It is the stretch of DNA which encodes for the primary structure of one protein, one enzyme, one product. So first, this is the nucleus. It is from the DNA that is going to make this RNA, and this is the process of transcription, and then this RNA is going to come in the cytoplasm. From the RNA, the protein is being made. Looking at the process of translation, this is the messenger RNA. This molecule of messenger RNA, so it was made by DNA, came out through the nuclear pore in the cytoplasm. This is the small unit of ribosome. It gets attached on its lower aspect. Then there is another variety of RNA called as transfer RNA that is going to bring a specific amino acid according to the genetic codon. So one was the genetic code which was there in the DNA, and this triplet of nitrogenous bases which is present on messenger RNA, this is called as codon. According to the codon, a specific amino acid is brought, and this is the large subunit of ribosomes. So both of these units, they are going to combine here in sheathing this messenger RNA, and then the transfer RNA is going to bring another amino acid. Peptide bond is produced between the two amino acid. Then the ribosome is going to move. Then that is going to, one of this transfer RNA is eliminated. A new one is going to come bringing a specific amino acid according to the instruction. Then it is further going to move, and this process is going to continues, and what is there? The different amino acid according to the information which was there coming from the nucleus. So this is a protein which is made up of the specific amino acid in the specific sequence, and the release of this polypeptide chain is there in response to one of the releasing factors, stop factor, that here the termination of the chain must be there. So this is the DNA, and this DNA in the nucleus, that is going to make this messenger RNA. It goes to the ribosome at small and large subunit. Protein is made, given to the Golgi apparatus, where finishing and packing of the product is going to occur, and then these proteins are being exported outside. So this was a quick review of whole of this process of flow of information inside the cell. Okay ji, going with the next non-membrane bound organelle, and that is centriole. What the centriole is there? So a pair of centriole is there present in the cytoplasm near the nucleus, one at the right angle to each other. Looking at their structure and function briefly, these centrioles, they are made up of a cylindrical array of 9 microtubules, and each microtubule is made up of further 3 microtubules. So these are called as 9 triplets of microtubules, and they are hollow in the middle. They are going to be there at right angle to each other. So another view of these microtubules, electron micrographic view of these microtubules which are present in the centriole. So basically, these centriole, what is the function of these centriole? These centrioles, they are going to produce spindle fibers to pull the chromatids of the chromosome apart during the anaphase of cell division. Looking at the function of centrioles, so these centrioles are going to produce spindle fibers, and these spindle fibers get attached to the chromosome at the centromeres, and once pull is exerted by these spindle fibers generated by the centriole, so these chromatids, they are going to move apart, they are going to split apart. So movement of these chromatids of the chromosome towards the pole is the main function of centriole. Dear students, in today's program, we discussed about the two remaining membrane bound organelles, that was the vacuole and nucleus, and we have covered the two non-membrane bound organelles. So these were the ribosomes, their functional relationship with the nucleus as well as with the endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, and then we have gone with the centriole, the role of which is mainly the movement of splitting of the chromatids apart of a chromosome. Inshallah, in our next program, we'll be continuing with the discussion of the rest of the non-membrane bound organelles. Till that time, Allah Hafiz.